If you live for people's compliments, you'll die by their criticism.
Y'all write that down. You need to put that on your own mirror, right? And it's, I think sometimes in reflection of ourself, right? I give myself compliments sometimes, and I also give myself criticism more times than not, right? And if it's even by my own belief, because there's surely days that I have lacking of faith. It's this knowing that like God literally has gifted me this vision. He's gifted me words. He's gifted me these talents. And I am sure without a shadow of a doubt, on the hardest days, on the darkest days, on the days that I am most fearful, the days that I'm most self-criticizing, he somehow, some way, whether through the words of somebody else like yourself, Travis, or through the word when I'm actually like diving in, or through worship or just a sign of any sort, he reminds me. Right. And so I think that there's this needing to know that like affirmation has to come from above, approval has to come from above. It's ultimately that well done, good and faithful servant that we're all looking to have at our own tombstone moment. And I didn't always have that. I definitely didn't always walk by truth and light and integrity. And so I want to hear from you, Travis, because I know you have a bit of a backstory yourself. We all do. How have you come to be so sure of these truths and these freedoms?
Yeah, so I think it comes from three places. Number one, alignment. If you have a certain type of calmness, a certain type of peace, right? The peace that surpasses all understanding, right? If you have a certain amount of that, that comes from that. Because for me, there was like a burden lifted off my shoulders once I started living my path, right? There were many people that told me, "Oh, Travis, you don't know what you're doing. You're stupid for doing this." When I was, first working with Prince E, back in 2010, because I wasn't getting paid. I was working for free, but we didn't have any money. He didn't have any money. None of us had any money. But I got made fun of because we were broke. We didn't, you know,
Yeah,
and
you're
then
sold out. And they're like, what are you sold out for, dude?
yeah, like, yeah, dude, what are you doing, man? Like, what you got? What's this internet thing?
Totally,
Because
totally.
at the time, like even back then, like the whole influencer thing wasn't like a big thing.
Not at all.
Uh,
Yeah.
but Prince C had a vision when it came to that, and I believed in that vision. So I supported it. And so anyway, I had a certain level of peace. The alignment was there for me, where the things that I did, I love doing. Where my mind was, I was doing what I wanted. My gifts and my talents, I was doing what I was talented at. Right. So all these were aligned, right? In terms of positivity and integrity, that was in alignment with what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? So when you have that
Yeah.
alignment with, your integrity, you have an alignment with your talents, you have an alignment with the type of peace that you have on the inside of what you're doing, then you're on the right path. So that's, number one. Number two, the impact that you're having. When you start to have an impact on other people's lives and you see the impact on other people's lives, regardless of the accolades, the accolades is not, that's the accolade. The accolade is the impact, right?
Yeah. Come on. That's good.
That's the accolade. If you're being successful in that endeavor, successful with the impact, successful with the mission, that is another parameter. And finally, as long as you continue to grow as an individual in a positive direction, as long as you continue to expand who you are, become better day in and day out, and this is helping you facilitate that growth, then if you got these three things, then you're pretty much surefire. And that's how I determine whether or not, am I growing, right? Am I aligned? Am I impacting? Like, these are the things that happened with me, that once I got so in tune with myself, and this was happening, then I knew I was in the right direction, and nobody could tell me nothing because I was living what I wanted to live. I was as authentic as it gets to living what I wanted to be.
Well, it's interesting. Like as you're talking, I was thinking about like our off-camera conversation where like, how are you doing? What's going on? Are you good? And my response was like, I'm walking into all the doors God has opened for me. But as you were talking, I was thinking about the power of the different Travis that walked into the room pre-trial, pre-struggle, which of course we're not void of struggle now, y'all. No one's perfect. We're all dealing with our own stuff, but where you walk into a room and you are walking in with a me-centered mentality, right? And you're like, what's in this room for me? And you're like, let me go try this chair out, the Three Little Bears concept, right? I'm going to go try this bed out. I'm going to go eat this food. Versus, I feel like when you go through that element of hardship, you stop looking so much at yourself and you start looking more to the world and how you can be of service based on that trial, based on the new awareness factor of your talent. And what you rooted it in is that alignment factor, because alignment is vertical first and then it becomes horizontal. So now you're walking into a room, and this is how I first witnessed you. You're walking into the room, not about what's in this for me, but what's in this for them. What can I give them? How can I serve? And it literally changes the dynamic of what's in the room. It could be the exact same room, but you are reading it. Your energy is showing up in a totally different way. And it literally makes the impact that you're speaking to.
Absolutely, totally agree with that. I think I always tell people, don't let the energy of the room shift you. You shift the energy of the room.
It's good.
Um, because you again, if you have that peace and you're sure of yourself, then whatever's going on in that room is not going to get you off your game. Instead, you're going to influence people to get on their game. So yeah, no, I totally agree with that perspective. And me coming from where I come from, I come from St. Louis, impoverished background. Never met my dad. Grew up in children's homes, and then eventually landed in prison. For 3 years. When I was a teenager, got out, and then ever since then, it was on my path. And I always tell people, the thing that changes you or transforms you comes down to whatever was needed to get your mind and your body to sit down and say, you know what, this isn't right. Something needs to change. And that's going to be different for everybody. Some people, it may be a family member dying. Some people, it may be a car accident. Some people, it may be jail. Some people, it may be none of that. Some people, it may be having a hard time at school and realizing, you know what, I'm having a difficult time at school, but my parents laid the blueprint for me. What am I doing that's not allowing me to be as successful as I should be? Whatever it is, it could be anything, whatever challenge, because it's all subjective on what that needs to be for you to achieve your best self. And those experiences that you're going to have is going to be curtailed or contextualized for who you are as an individual. So it's just going to be different for everybody. Mine was jail. I needed that for me because of the seriousness of the situation, the direness of what I was in and what I was dealing with. Something drastic needed to, incubate me, to come out a better person.